Hello and welcome to another story a day. I'm not entirely sure which day it is, I've lost track a bit, but it's another story, one of 26. And this evening we're going to go back to when the world was very young, and we're going to go to Australia. So we're going into the dream time. And back then, when the world was very young, all the birds and all the animals, they spoke the same language. And they lived forever. So they had absolutely no idea of death, what it was, what it meant, just not anything that had ever entered their lives. One day there was a young cockatoo, and he was swinging, as cockatoos do, from the top of a tree, and he was having a whale of a time. But all of a sudden he slipped, and he fell to the ground, and he didn't move. And all the animals came crowding round and prodded at him and talked to him, and they didn't understand why he wasn't moving. And a wise old wombat came forward, and he said that Cockatoo has broken his neck. But what did this mean? Why still they didn't understand why he wouldn't talk to them, why he wouldn't get up and play. What does this breaking your neck, what does it actually mean? So they had to sit down and have a meeting to discuss what this was all about, because it was so strange, something they had just no concept of whatsoever. And while they were doing this, while they were sitting under a tree in council, having this discussion, the great spirits came and they took Cockatoo up into the sky. Well, this was even more puzzling for the animals. Why have they taken our friend? Where have they taken our friend? What are they going to do with our friend? Wombat tried to explain. He said that great spirits had taken Cockatoo so that he could change, transform, become something else, something other. The animals didn't understand this. They decided that what they had to do was send someone to follow Cockatoo and to watch and observe and to see what it was that happened. So they started asking amongst themselves, well, who wants to go? Well, you go. No, I don't want to go. Well, I don't want to go. And eventually it was the caterpillar that came forward, not alone, with all the other caterpillars. And the caterpillars said they would go. They would go up into the sky for winter, and they would see what happened to Cockatoo. And so all their friends watched as this group of caterpillars wiggled their way up into the sky and out of their sight. All through the winter, the animals and birds wondered, what's happened to Cockatoo? Where are the caterpillars? What's going on? What is this big transformation that's supposed to take place? And winter ended, but the caterpillars didn't come back. So Wombat suggested that they all go searching for the caterpillars to see if they'd come back, but just landed in a different place somehow. So off they all went, looking in different places, behind the trees, behind the bushes, near the river, by the spring, but still no sign of the caterpillars. And slowly time passed until the very first really warm day of spring arrived. And the animals couldn't believe their eyes, because they seemed to be surrounded by a cloud of beautiful coloured butterflies, just shimmering and dancing and settling on the leaves of the trees and moving on and sitting on their shoulder, standing on their heads, on their backs. And this was a marvel to them. And they realised that there were so many butterflies, as there had been so many caterpillars. And they realised that this was the great transformation, the opportunity to become something new, something different after a period of hibernation. So there we have it, today's story, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another one. Have a good evening. Bye-bye now.